The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy
As I
stuff.
said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eklund.
In racing, a win is a win and the numbers don't lie. But to prove yourself the best, you must compete. In racing, a win is a win and the numbers don't lie. But to prove yourself the best, you must compete with the best. These drivers know that to reach the top step of the podium here just might be the most arduous fight they've ever fought. But in the end, the trophies, the prizes, and the numbers can mean little when the admiration and respect of your peers is on the line. It may come to blows, it might even come to tears, but it's all worth it to be able to claim victory. You're watching the Blondie's MX5 World Tour.
Last time on the Blondie's MX5 World Tour.
But they're revving up at the moment, so I'm gonna call the green flag. They all got really good starts. Jan Koemans is getting a run in the black car alongside João Freitas in the green and red car.
And Thomas has spun his car. Timo has hit him, and all kinds of action happening right here in the first lap, Ayrton.
Sam McAleer in 10th place is, a lot of trouble. Looks like he has damage wiggling a lot on the straight. And Sam McAleer actually gets very loose, skimming the grass, goes off into the dirt, and it looks like he's going to get set really back.
Jan Koemans, mind you now, this is going to be interesting. He's right on the tail of João Freitas. Koemans backed out a little bit there, Ayrton, and suddenly João Freitas back in the lead again.
And João Freitas looks like he must have gotten a slowdown because he just let Koemans pass. It looks like Rato actually has the inside, and Richard Eklund is going to give him the position. So Richard Eklund is falling like a rock.
So as we see, who's that going wide there, Ayrton?
That looked like
João Freitas it was, and Mura attacks and takes the position from João Freitas. So João Freitas lost quite a few positions there, Ayrton. And Marco Mogren, sorry to cut in there, Marco Mogren attempted to overtake Jim Boland, and they touched, and Jim Boland was turned around.
In fact, this long straight gives a lot of draft. Guilherme Rato is going very defensive on the inside, and Eklund's actually going to go past.
And we have Richard Eklund has slowed very significant. Did you see what happened there, Ayrton? Because he's just lost the place now to Sergio Moura.
Yeah, it looks like Richard Eklund's going to have the inside. Rato seems to be pretty safe at the moment. Eklund breaks a little later than Moura and looks like he's got the position. Sergio Moura, first man to pit. He took 2 tires, so I'm interested to see how the strategy will work. Yeah, and in fact, we actually have Guilherme Rato and Richard Eklund side by side. Richard Eklund's going to try to keep on the outside and actually makes the maneuver and has the second position. Yeah, and I was just looking at João Freitas, who actually made a move on Guilherme Rato after passing Arthur Chan. Guilherme Rato was very slow coming onto the front stretch, and João was able to easily get past, and he managed to gain a position as Matthias Swani actually spins right in front of João Freitas. João Freitas got lucky there not to hit him. Eklund was trying to make it 3 wide, and he hit Matthew Baker and spun him around.
Moura has been back in pit, so it looks that he came in through the S's and missed some gains and went into the tire barrier, so it's from damage, and it looks like he's out of the race now.
Trevor Mack has made a pass on Uros Jelenko, and we missed it. Unfortunately, we missed that one, but good driving from Trevor Mack now into 5th place. Koemans coming down the hill for the final time, Ayrton. He's about to take the last right-hander and go across the line for his, I believe it's his 31st or 32nd win of this series.
Yep, and his 3rd win of the season as he spins around in celebration. 14 seconds behind was Richard Eklund. Guilherme Rato in 3rd. João Freitas in 4th. Trevor Mack in 5th. Uros Jelenko in 6th. Tumas Halleman in 7th. Timo Tuliainen, great comeback in 8th. Brandon Stroshine in 9th, and Simon Van Jr. in 10th.
Welcome to the Blondie's MX5 World Tour, live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Very good day to everybody, wherever you may be. Today's broadcast is round 6 of season 6, and we are racing at Charlotte Road, which is a 12-turn course using much of the oval track as well. Bill Zahn has dubbed this one the Joshua Tree Sprint. I don't know where he comes up with his names, but anyway, that's the name of the race today. Hi, I'm Richard Losper, and with me in the booth today is Ayrton Ellis, Stefan Overgaard, and Sean Ambrose. Hi, guys.
Hey, Richard. Great to be here.
Hi, guys.
Hey there, Richard. Great to be with you here today.
Thank you, guys. Well, our director is the mixer master and streamer supremo, Giancarlo Lenzi. Let's talk about this race for a moment or two. Stefan, what are your thoughts on this track? Have you raced here before?
I've raced here a couple of times, but actually never at night. But what you basically got here is a roval with two very distinct different sections. You have the infield, which is technical, and then you have that long drive around most of the oval that really help drivers that are lost, that have lost a few tenths in the infield to catch back up to the packs, and then might even go for pass into turn one. And that turn one is really where I expect to see a lot of drivers' races be decided this night. It's so easy to get loose going off the roll and into the infield, and you don't really have any margin for error in that corner. So,
yeah, you're absolutely right. Also, I'm hearing that the weather might have a distinct effect on this entry to turn one, because it seems to be blowing from this northeast direction, which seems to, let's watch Timo Tulianen as he goes right now into turn one, and he negotiates it safely. But I reckon that's where we're going to see a few problems, because as usual for any roval, it's a very fast entry into turn one as usual, and we see guys, if they're going to attempt an overtaking move, that's normally where they try it. But anyway, let's have a good look at the track from inside the cockpit of one of the cars. Giancarlo, can we have the track guide for the viewers, please? Good evening, folks. We have for you an overview of the Charlotte Road course done by our very own commentator Ayrton Ellis, which goes to show he can not only talk, but he can drive as well. And Ayrton is now on the oval section, approaching turn one, which is a very fast left-hander. You need to be very close to the grass verge and avoid the wall on the right-hand side. Full speed into turn two, slight braking for the right-hander into turn three, then brake a bit harder into turn four, keeping as low as possible, then a short straight and a very fast right-hander turn 5. Straight after the turn, brake very hard for the blind corner into turn 6, and then get ready for the left-hander, which is the approach onto the oval, watching out for the fence on your right-hand side. Once you are on the oval, keep low. It is the fastest way around the oval. Will probably reach speeds of up to 120 miles per hour around the oval section, and if you are in a draft situation, speeds will probably get up to around 130 miles per hour. As Ellis comes around the final turn of the course, approaching the start-finish line and getting ready once again to take turn one. There you have it, folks, a lap around Charlotte Road course with Ayrton Ellis. Well, welcome back to the Blondie's World Tour. Ayrton, after 5 rounds of racing now, we've got a very interesting point situation. Talk us through the current standings, please.
Yes, it is very interesting, Richard. At the moment, we have Guillermo Rato leading the standings with 417 points. And that is very interesting because he's missed 2 races and has not won a race yet. And right behind him, only 6 points behind, is Jan Koemans, who has won quite a number of races this season. 16 points behind, and third is Richard Eklund. And he's had a lot of ups and downs this season as well. And a lot farther back is Amjad Yaman in 4th, 42 points behind, then João Freitas in 5th with 54 points behind.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what effect this race has on the standings, because there are a number of guys just further away. Timo Tuliainen, who is very fast here tonight, he's in 6th place, and Sam McAleer, Thomas Hallinan, and so on. So a bunch of guys that will be in contention, I'm sure, after this race. Stefan, do we have a handle on the penalty situation?
Yeah, actually for this race there's no forced mandatory hit and stop and go penalties because nobody has been really naughty in the last race. So it should really be a close race, and only the guys who choose to do a voluntary pass them through the pits will happen.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, we got about 2 minutes left, Ayrton, in the warm-up session. So, any thoughts from you on how you think this race might go?
Well, we do have quite a few fast drivers that are starting quite high up. Sergio Mora is starting in 2nd place, and we do have Sam McAleer who will be starting on pole because of the quick 6 gimmick. And I was actually looking at the qualifying results, and about the top 6 guys in the quick 6 were all within 0.4 of a second, which is very close, especially on a heavy track like this. But I really think that consistency and being able to stay with the pack in this race will really affect who gets the win.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the draft is going to play an enormous role in particularly with the fast guys trying to get away from some of the slower guys. That's just not going to happen, is it, Stefan?
No, that's long oval section that you can't really get away. The only way to get away, yes, actually people making mistakes going into turn 1, maybe making a gap because they're slowing everyone down, and then you might see a few packs forming. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. I'm very excited about this race, to be honest, because on a track like this, I never used to like the Roval tracks, but it does tend to provide for some very exciting racing. And this tonight is going to be no different. Bearing in mind we've got some weather issues, we've got the fact that it's nighttime, which makes them slightly faster as well. The current temperature at the moment is we're looking at 67 degrees Fahrenheit, a wind of 7 miles per hour, which is about 5 miles per hour faster or harder than the normal iRacing wind situation if you're just doing an official race. So it's all going to be very, very exciting as we see now that the session for warm-up has officially ended, and we will start to see them grid up very, very shortly. Etan?
Yep, so starting on first with the quick 6 gimmick will be Sam McAleer, and then alongside him will be Sergio Mora in 2nd, Timo Tuliainen in 3rd, João Freitas in 4th, Richard Eklund in 5th, Jan Koemans in 6th, Jared Janis in 7th, Thomas Hallinan in 8th, Joris Jelenko in 9th, and Trevor Mack in 10th.
And then you have Joseph Arrow in 11th, Kevin Seaford 12th, Amjad Yaman 13th, Eric Garcia 14th, Jim A. Boland 15th, Stefan Morian 16th, Benjamin Lenoet 17th, Jonathan Kier 18th, Mihai Mesasan 19th, and Ben Tucker 20th.
And bringing up the 21st place is Tori Tesla. Matthias Suwini behind him in 22nd place. George Fike holds down the 3rd place. Jeremy Naylor in 24th. Jim McInnes in 25th. Matthew Baker in 26th place. Bill Zahn, organizer of the series, in 27th. Kevin Stallings in 28th. 29th is Christopher Thompson. Dylan Merkert, Arthur Chan, and Hiro Kanaya. Go ahead, Ayrton.
Yeah, it looks like Sam McAleer is starting on first in his bright orange car. They're all going into turn 1 side by side. It looks like Sam McAleer is going to get in front of Sergio Mora and single file for the first few positions. But we do have Richard Eklund and Jan Koeman side by side going into turn 2. It looks like that they're going to go... Richard Eklund's going to slow down, and Koeman is going to go by him for that 4th place position. And I'm looking at McAleer. He already has a huge lead at the moment over Sergio Mora. They really packed up into those corners, and looks like Richard Eklund and Jan Koeman are really mixing up a lot in that 4th place position. And we're coming onto the oval section of the course already. It's not that long of a track. And Timo Tuliainen goes wide entering the oval, and João Freitas is going to get in front of him. And we've got the top 2 drivers with a huge lead over the pack led by João Freitas in 3rd. And Timo Tuliainen is now looking on the outside of these guys. And this draft is going to make it really close for the guys to get together.
And we see Richard Eklund on the outside of Koeman's going around the oval once again. They just behind Tuliainen and Freitas. We see Jan Koeman going down onto the apron, Ethan. What's going on there?
That may be a little dangerous. Looks like he's going to try to get back on the track without getting into too much trouble. They're 3 wide on the front stretch. Richard Eklund in the Lotus car now gets in front, and Jan Koeman in his black car is going to be able to get on the inside of him. Looks like he's got a slow exit, and I'm now looking back at the leader, and Sergio Mora has passed Sam McAleer for the lead.
Yes, and that was extremely risky from Jan Koeman there. Stefan, he was way low down, and himself and Eklund nearly touched going into turn 1.
Yeah, this track is really not where you want to go down below the apron. Remember, this isn't a proper oval race, so it's not against the wheels to go down there, but you're really losing time because you don't have that angle on the track.
Yeah, so at the moment, Ethan, looks like Sergio Mora has taken the lead. Sam McAleer is following him very strongly, and behind them, João Freitas a little way back, and then Richard Eklund and Jan Koeman, who are sizing each other up for another battle.
Yeah, it looks like Richard Eklund's actually going to go high and let Koeman at the inside. If these guys are smart, they're going to work together, and Richard Eklund might think that Koeman is faster, and they could work together to try to catch up, because I believe Sergio Mora and Sam McAleer, who are actually side by side right now on the front stretch, Sam McAleer shoots to the outside, and he's going to get the position. But as I was saying before, they should work together to try to catch up to these guys, as Sergio Mora actually loses it in turn 1. Doesn't hit anything, but has now lost position to João Freitas and Jan Koeman.
Yeah, and we see Richard Eklund. He actually spun around and he's losing position very fast. I don't think he hits the wall.
Yes, so there's a whole stream of cars now that have passed him, and Sam McAleer doing a great job out front there. Freitas now in 2nd place in that lovely colored car, the number 346. It's red and green and yellow. Great looking car. These guys are followed by Jan Koeman. So Jan Koeman starting to assert a little bit of position, but Sam McAleer, great lead.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, and if he can keep that lead, he'll be able to pull away from these guys as they battle out. And yeah, definitely Jan Koeman is managing to get through the pack, and we've already seen quite a few mistakes into that turn 1. A lot of drivers were mentioning it being really loose, and they have to be careful for the rest of the race. Any more mistakes there, and you can be into the wall or into another driver.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys in the pits already. Bill Zahn looks like he's in the pits. Jim Boland showing as being right out of his car, so we're not quite sure what's happened there. We've been concentrating on the leaders, but we have Jan Koeman coming up onto the back of Freitas and playing it safe as they go into turn 1. A good move from him. Behind him, Sergio Mora, who was really conservative behind Sam McAleer a lap ago. He's now in 4th place, Stefan. So the guys are settling into the race.
Yeah.
And we
that goes off track, Metro. Sergio Mora, sorry, and he loses position to Janis in that white and black and red car.
That's right. What happened there was Sergio Mora went off track. Tuliainen in the yellowish car, beige car, overtook him, and Janis as well. So he's lost quite a couple of positions there, Ed.
Yeah, and that's something that I have to be careful with. He got wide in turn 2, just skimmed the grass while he braked for turn 3, and that's why he went off track. So definitely, he's having some trouble so far this race. He was in second 2 laps ago, and now he's all the way back in 6th.
Yeah, that's right. And our top 3 guys now a little bit spread out. They're not challenging each other. Sam McAleer, great race from him. He's still way out in front. Jao Freitas, who by the way is my pick to win this race, is in second place. But here we have Jan Koemans coming up on the back of Freitas, goes to the inside, has a look, but then pulls back. Does cross the grass a little bit. Hopefully he doesn't get a slow down there, but he decides to stay in third place. So Tuliainen then behind them. These are your top 4. Very strong racing up front between Koemans and Freitas. Let's see what happens there, Etten. As we see Tuliainen getting loose.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to keep the 4th place position. Georgianus not close enough.
Sam McAleer off track. Sam McAleer completely off the track. He will lose his first place. Freitas now in the lead, and Koemans. We might get a replay of that, Director. So where do we have, where has he come out now, Etten, Sam McAleer?
It looks like Sam McAleer is actually being passed by Tuomas Halonen right now for the 8th place position. At the moment, he's actually going to keep the position, but definitely first front to 8th. He seemed just to go a little too wide going into turn 5, too much speed, and wasn't able to hold it. And if you skim the grass on this track, you're going to go off, and it's a long way off.
And we have Jan Koemans going inside Freitas now, passing in on this start finish line coming into turn 1.
Yes, we see Jan Koemans making the move, and he makes it stick. He now, Freitas comes back at him, Etten, and challenges again. We see Trevor Mack passing Sergio Moura. Sergio Moura seems to be going backwards at a great rate of knots at the moment, but Jan Koemans up ahead there, leading the race at the moment.
Yeah, that was a good pass by him, and definitely playing a lot safer. He managed to get from 6th to 1st in 6 laps, which is a really good start. And if he can get a good enough gap in the infield, he'll be able to pull a lead. But he does have a lot of fast drivers. Jao Freitas, Timo Tuliainen, and Georgianus, Trevor Mack right on his tail.
Yeah, and they're coming back onto the oval now. Let's see what Freitas can do with regards to catching Koemans. But Koemans now has the bit between his teeth, no doubt about that. And he's pulling a small gap on the rest of the field at this point in time. I haven't seen any of the other guys challenging the more fancied guys. We've got Janis in 4th place. Tuliainen starting to make a move on Freitas there, Etten. As Freitas makes a move on Koemans. It's all happening.
Yep, he's moving to the outside right now, and if looks like he's going to try to make a pass on the outside. He's got a really good run. His car is much more ahead. If he can brake late enough, it looks like he might. Jan Koemans looks like he's going to try to defend his position, and now has the inside for the next corner, and that's going to allow Jao Freitas. His momentum has kept him up there, and he's going to be able to get the position going into turn 3 and 4.
Yes, and he now has Tuliainen looking to challenge him for the 2nd position, and just behind them Janis. So the action is most definitely at the front right now. These top 3 guys with Janis just behind them, they are battling fiercely for that 1st position as we speak now, Stefan.
Yeah, but actually also down on 10th position we have a very fierce battle, 4 guys fighting for that position. We had Richard Eklund who lost out early in the race. He has taken over Andy Jan's position, and then Stefan Marianne and Kevin Seaford is also in that pack, so also battle down there.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at that now. My cameras are on Stefan Morien, who is following Amjad Yaman in the green car, and he is following Richard Eklund. However, these guys are a long way behind the lead pack, Etten.
Yeah, the top 9 cars, Jao Freitas to Tuomas Halonen, are all within a group, and they have about an 8-second gap to Richard Eklund in 10th, so a very large gap between those groups.
Yeah,
it looks like Jan Koemans Jan Koemans into one, goes right into the wall. He almost lost it and hit the wall. That's going to do a lot of damage, and he's sent way back and through the pack.
And I
Well, we're
expect
gonna
he
get a
actually had
replay
a
of
lot
that.
of damage there.
And he hits the fence again, so he's got a lot of damage on his car right now, Ayrton.
He was talking about, before this race, turn 1 being very difficult with the weather issues, and he was trying to make a pass on João Freitas and went way too wide into the corner and smashed straight into the wall, almost hitting some of the other drivers, but they managed to avoid him.
Well, you know, he's taken a tow, so he's out of the car at the moment, and I think his race, as far as winning, certainly is done. Our new leader, by the looks of it, is João Freitas right now, as we will leave Jan Koemans to have his damage repaired. Timo Tuliainen right behind Freitas at this point in time, and these are the two in first and second place. Jay Janus a little way back in third place, so he with the draft he should be challenging these two very, very shortly in the next lap or so. Bear in mind, Jay Janus did win the last race at this track, at the nighttime Charlotte track, so he's right up against Timo Tuliainen right now. He plays it safe, and they go into turn 1 very safely with Tuliainen right on the back of Freitas. So, and he looks to the inside just briefly, but decides against making any move there as they go around the infield. In front of Freitas, there's a slow car, and that is Bilzan, who wisely pulls right off onto the grass and lets the leaders through. As they go through now, we won't bother to follow Bilzan at this point in time, because we see now that the whole pack just streams through and they start to get back onto the oval, Ayrton. So once again, the battle will hot up for that first place.
Yeah, Tuliainen looks really close to João Freitas' head. He looks to the outside, and he's gotten a lot closer, a lot earlier on this oval section of the track, so he should be able to get a really nice run, maybe even clear João Freitas while going into turn 1, but he does have this next turn on the oval section of the track. He's on the outside, which means he has more distance to cover, and he's going to hop back behind João Freitas for the moment.
Yeah, that's a wise move, I think, because João Freitas had the inside line and wasn't giving that up. As we see Tuliainen just thinking about looking on the inside, decides against it. Jay Janus in third place right behind these two. So this is great racing from this lot.
Yeah, we have Trevor Mack spinning in turn 1. He was bumped on the rear by Sam McAleer in 5th place, so he now loses it in turn 1. He didn't have any damage besides that small contact on the rear bumper, but he has lost quite a few positions.
Yeah, Sam McAleer now goes into, I believe it's 4th place, and Uros Jelenko in 5th place. We haven't spoken about Uros at this point in time. He's been running his own race, but he's starting to have a look at getting in amongst it as they approach the oval now. So just looking at the top 5, we've still got Freitas leading. We've got Timo Tuliainen right behind him, Jay Janus right there, in case these two make a mistake. Behind them, we have Sam McAleer a little way back, and then Uros Jelenko in 5th place. So plenty of laps still to go. We're on lap 10 at the moment. The leaders have completed 9 laps, and very soon these guys are going to be thinking about pit stops, Ayrton.
Yeah, and you did mention Jir Janus won last season through pit stop strategy. Guilherme Rato and João Freitas battling for first. Both ran out of fuel in the closing laps, and Jir Janus was able to clinch it. So I'm wondering if quite a few drivers may think about fuel saving, staying behind the drivers, using that draft to save a good amount of fuel and try to jump during the pits.
Well, you know what, guys? Sergio Moura has started to make up some time again. He's currently following, as he does go very, very much over the line there. I wonder if he got a slowdown. Doesn't look like it. He's following Uros Jelenko, Sergio Moura. So I expect him to have a say in the final laps as well in this race, Stefan.
Yeah, but it actually looks like he has a bit of damage on the right hand. I think it came from turn 1, actually on the turn into turn 1 where he hit the wall. I don't know how much it affected, but we'll see if he can make up positions. And I would expect him to, in a normal car, a working car, be able to compete for the win.
Yeah, certainly he's in amongst it. Our top two are still battling away. Tulianen keeps coming up right onto the back of Freitas in the oval, but then doesn't try to make any moves. I think he's just sizing him up, Eton.
Yeah, or he could be, like I was saying before, saving fuel might work really well. I've noticed that Giorgianis has actually been upshifting a little earlier, and he might be using this draft of these two drivers in front of him as an advantage to be able to keep having that nice speed, but being able to save a good amount of fuel in the process. So he's probably thinking about his pit strategy on the long run, and same with Timo Tuliainen, and not thinking about position at the moment. It's only 1/3 through the race, and they still got to think about pit stop strategy.
Yeah, and these guys are now starting to lap the slower cars up ahead of Freitas. We've got Mihai Messasan, so they'll be right on him as they go through onto the oval. Freitas, I believe, is running an absolutely great race from the front at the moment. But, you know, we've seen all this happen before where you can lead virtually 90% of the race, and it comes down to the pit stops and that last few laps here.
Yep, and as you mentioned that, Sergio Mora did complete a pit stop that last lap, so he's dropped down a lot of positions, and I've noticed these past few races that he's been one of the first few drivers to pit. Some races it's worked for him, some races it hasn't, so I'm interested to see how it will work. He has no one to draft him at the moment, so that it could hurt him.
McAleer's falling back a little bit. He's just been passed by two cars. Those two cars being Uros Jelenko and Tuomas Halonen, as these guys start to enter turn one now. So I'm wondering what's happening to Sam McAleer. Is he just taking a breather, or has he got a problem? As he spins, I think he does have a problem. He spins the car, manages to catch it. Great driving from McAleer, managing to catch that one. He was gone for all money, but managed to catch it back up, and is back in the back on track again. Never actually went off track. He just did an enormous drift there, as we see a car off track, and that is Hiro Kanaya, not playing any part in the leading of this race. So a bunch of guys at the moment being lapped by the leaders, Eton.
Yeah, and that gap between the front group and Tuomas Halonen and Uros Jelenko and Sam McAleer is actually getting quite a bit larger. It's about a 4-second gap now. So these guys are losing time to the leaders, and even Giorgianis behind Timo Tuliainen and João Freitas has lost a little bit, but that could be part of his fuel saving. But you're right, they have a lot of traffic, but this track is not too difficult for traffic because of that long straight, so it will make it a lot easier. Some drivers may even use the slower cars as an advantage to gain some more time using the draft.
Yeah, guys, just have a quick look at Ben Tucker. He has a severely damaged car. He's limping his way back to the pits. He's obviously been involved in some sort of major accident or gone into the wall, but car number 7, the green car of Ben Tucker, really struggling, poor guy. So he's out of the race. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a tow right now, and he does. So back to the front of the pack and see what's happening there, Stefan.
Yeah, we still have Freitas and Timo Tuliainen leading the pack, and then Giannis just waiting patiently behind him, and then behind them Tuomas Halonen and Uros Jelenko have formed up with a duo about 3 seconds back. And then Sam McAleer and actually Trevor Mack has caught up to Sam McAleer after McAleer's error, so they form a pair there. So we have a lot of small groups drafting together, and people really need to work together. They can't fight each corner. They'll never catch up to the guys in front of them.
Yeah, that's quite correct. As we see, Tuomas Halonen is who's currently in 4th position, and Uros Jelenko. I think these are the two that we were referencing. Uros Jelenko just behind Tuomas. They seem to be working together because Uros went high and allowed Tuomas to get through, and now is just following him into turn 1. And these guys, as you said, they need to work together if they have any hopes of catching the front trio. As we see Tuomas again cutting the course, there must be a generous amount of track available to the drivers in that turn 3 there, Eton.
Yeah, you can run over that the white line quite a bit without getting a slowdown penalty, but drivers do have to be careful because it's difficult to tell the limit. So we could see some drivers, I know I have, gotten slowdowns in that corner quite a few times. They have to be careful about that.
Yeah, I'm liking Thomas Hellinen's drive at the moment. He's sitting back at about 4 seconds off Jer Janus. But if he keeps going like this and he gets a good pit stop, he's going to be right in there at the end.
And Zelenko behind him, you could really hear he's not trying to pass him, he's actually lifting on the oval just to save fuel, I think, and maybe take a shorter pit stop. So we'll see once that happens. Because you can see here he comes back up easily behind Hallinen, but I expect him to stay behind him and not try to pass.
Yeah, good thinking from these guys. They certainly
he's just going
together.
On the outside.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I said as he was just going on the outside, completely opposite of what I said.
We do have Sam McAleer and Trevor Mack shooting into the pits right behind one another. So let's see which one can get out faster and how this will help them. We do have Sergio Mora, which was in the top group that pitted a lot earlier. He's about 40 seconds from the leaders. Let's see where these guys come out in relation to Sergio Mora.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We should also mention that Jan Koemans has stayed in the pits. He has not moved. He's in fact severely damaged. So let's see how these guys go as we see our top three still running strongly with Freitas in the lead, Timo Tuliainen right behind him, and Jer Janus in third place. Great driving from these guys. Uros Jelenko now inherits fourth place at this point in time, and Thomas Hallinen just behind him in fifth place. So one of the things that I wanted to quickly talk about was Richard Eklund. Now, Richard Eklund is one of the top runners in the past races that we've had, Ayrton. He's sitting back in sixth place at the moment, so he's not having the best race at this stage.
Yeah, well, we do have to remember he did have that incident very early on, and with all the other incidents that have been happening in the draft, he's finding it difficult to catch up. He's about 16 seconds behind the leaders, but he does have this pack: Amjad Yaman, Stefan Morian, Kevin Ford, all right behind him.
Yeah. Now, there's a bunch of guys that have retired by the looks of things. Hiro Kanaya, Jan Koemans, looks like he's retired. Ben Tucker, who we had a brief look at. Matthias Suini, a bunch of guys have retired from this race. As we see, Eklund once again just going real squirrely into turn one. Very tough into turn one by the looks of it. But back to our leaders, Jao Freitas doing it very, very nicely at this stage. Timo Tuliainen playing it really smart, I believe, just sitting in behind him. I think once the pit stops take place, bearing in mind they are past the halfway mark now, once they do their pit stops, I believe then everything is up for grabs, Ayrton.
And I think we should mention that after the pit stop, we had Mauer taking the early pit stop, but Sam McAleer and Trevor Mack was also one of the early pitters. And McAleer came out right behind Mauer, but for some reason Trevor Mack took 4 tires and lost the draft of Trevor Mack.
Yeah, just looking at Tuliainen, we've been on board with Tuliainen for a little while. He is really, really not challenging Freitas. He's sitting behind him. He knows he has the same speed. They're coming up on a couple of slower cars right now, so this might play into the hands of Tuliainen if he decides to make a move. He's just staying to the outside, passing the slower car. Not making a move, Ayrton, on Freitas. I'm pretty sure he can if he wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm positive that he's thinking about fuel at the moment, and with the amount of fuel that he's probably saved, he should be able to get a jump on Jao Freitas, and Jao Freitas had just been the one sitting in front while Jer Janus and Timo Tuliainen are sitting behind, so they are going to save a lot of fuel and probably are going to be able to jump them in the pit, and that's probably what they're thinking about at the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely right. I mean, this is a race not only of speed, but also of tactics. And the one with the best tactics is normally the one who comes out in front. But just behind Tuliainen, we have got Jer Janus. Now, bearing in mind, Jer Janus won the race last season. He's in a very, very handy position there at the moment in third place. These guys have not pitted. So they will have to still do their pit stop, and then we'll see where the other guys like Mura and so on come out. But at the moment, these three are our leaders and doing it very well, Stefan.
Yeah, actually about Mura, maybe he took a very too early pit stop. We'll have to see if he runs out on fuel. We had that last season where a lot of guys mistimed their pit stops, and even though he's actually the front runner of those who've already pitted, he might be on the losing side in the end because he simply doesn't have the fuel left.
Yeah, quite correct. Let's go and have a look now at some of the guys a little bit further down the pack. So I want to look at just behind Uros Jelenko, we have Kevin Ford. Kevin has been, he's a good driver. He's been just doing his own thing, so to speak, and at the moment sitting in 14th place. These are the sorts of guys who perhaps might not feature in the win, but certainly will finish up with a handy position, I believe, Ayrton.
And the leaders are pitting now.
And we're getting information from Stefan that the leaders are pitting. So let's go and have a look at João Freitas coming into his pit stall as we speak.
And Timo stayed out. Yeah, Janis also came in with Freitas.
Janis came in with Freitas. So that is first and third place who have come in. Timo Tuliainen. Ayrton, this is exactly what you were talking about earlier about fuel saving.
Yeah, and Janis was also doing it, so I'm interested to see if Janis will probably be able to take a maybe a gallon less and be able to jump Freitas, or if they're filling up to a full tank. He's coming out of his pit right now. It's going to be very close. They actually touch, I think, and João Freitas is going to beat Janis out of the pit lane.
Yeah, that was in normal real life racing, that would have been a touch and these two guys would have hit each other. But iRacing allows a certain amount of leeway in exiting and entering the pits, where cars can actually touch each other without any penalty at all. So you're right, Ayrton. Freitas did come out ahead of Janis, and he's hustling at the moment to get a lead on Jer. But Jer's having none of it. He's sticking with him. He's about a second or so back. So these two guys, I'm pretty sure, are going to feature in the finish.
Yeah, and they came out ahead of Sergio Mora and Sam McAleer. They're about 3 seconds behind, so they are just out of the draft for those.
As Timo Tuliainen is in the pit lane, now we got to see if he'll be able to take less fuel and jump not Sergio Mora, João Freitas and Janis coming out. It's going to be very close. We have to keep an eye on Janis and João Freitas on the straight, and Timo Tuliainen coming out of the pits.
Yep, just looking at Timo as we speak. He's taken right side tires and he's fueling up at the moment. The left side did not go up, so he didn't take left side tires. Coming out right now. Where is he in relation to the leaders?
He's in the first position, but João Freitas actually has more speed coming out to turn one and goes by. Will Janis get it too? No. Timo Tuliainen slots right between those two as he comes out of pit lane.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. These guys have just come out in the same order that they were racing prior to the pit stops. So these guys have got their strategy exactly right, Ayrton.
Yep, and now it is all or nothing. They have about 10 laps to go, lap 21 out of 30, and these guys are going to have to think about now the end. Are they going to try to do a snipe at the finish of the line, or are they going to try to get ahead and defend that position in the final closing laps?
That's right, and bear in mind that Sergio Mura is in 4th place, not that far behind them. So it's going to go down to the wire, I believe. We're going to stick with these three guys. Tuliainen sitting behind Freitas, and Janis just sitting behind Tuliainen as he's starting to catch up in the draft now, Ayrton. It's going to be anybody's race. I believe that given enough laps, there's still a few laps left. Sergio Mura may be out of the draft, so he may not play a part, but certainly these three guys, they're it, I believe, Ayrton.
Yeah, it is, and that was very close. Timo Tuliainen was coming out of the pits the lap before, and he came out straight to that outside position to try to defend the position from João Freitas, but João Freitas had too much speed, and if Timo Tuliainen tried to be too aggressive, it would have caused an accident. So both drivers playing it smart and not ruining their race at this point.
That's right. And to be honest, I really like the position of Jay Yanis right here. He is sitting in third place. He can see what's going on. Third place, in my opinion, in any race is always a handy place to be, provided you are, you know, within distance, touching distance of the top two, because the top two are going to battle for the first place position. If they make any mistake, then the first place is yours. So Jay Yanis sitting in a really handy position at this point in time, Stefan.
Yeah, but that third position. You also, I think you might just wait to the last lap and then just stream past in the draft, because that long straight really allows you to just overtake them by pure less resistance by the air.
Yeah, it becomes a tactical race now for these guys. Do they try to make a move? Bearing in mind we are on lap 23, 7 laps left as Tulianen goes to the inside. Ayrton, he's trying to make a pass. Freitas will have none of it. Freitas now has the inside for turn 3, and Tulianen has to fall back in line. He nearly lost some time there to Jay Yanis, as Jay Yanis has a sniff now that the second position might be within reach. Ayrton?
Yeah, and this actually slowed them down. Sam McAleer and Sergio Mora behind them have managed to catch up, and in a lap or two they may be within draft distance, and this could be a 5-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, but certainly it looks like Mora's got some damage. Well, we can see the damage, but it certainly must be slowing him down because McAleer has caught and passed him. But you're quite right, Ayrton, these guys are quite close now to that top 3, and if they continue to battle, these guys are going to be catching them. So Sam McAleer, Jay Yanis just sitting back a little bit, Timo Tulianen right on the back of Freitas. This is fascinating stuff, Ayrton.
Yeah, and we do have to remember that fourth place position is not anything to look over, because we got to remember back in season 3 there was a battle for second place, and the two drivers crashed out, allowing the driver in fourth place to catch up from a 2-second distance. So these guys, even though they're about 2.5 seconds behind, they still have a chance at this, because these top 3 at any moment could wreck each other out.
Absolutely, and not to mention the fact that they're coming up on some slower traffic as well. Always risky when you have some slower traffic, particularly in the infield, where it is not that easy to pass. So Freitas still doing it well. I have to say Freitas has raced extremely well from the first place, virtually from the early laps right to the end laps right now. But let me tell you that it's not all over at all, because Tulianen and Jay Yanis are right within striking distance there, Stefan.
Yeah, and they actually seem to have put a bit of a gap between the hunters of Sam McAleer and Sergio Mora. And Sergio Mora is behind McAleer now. We'll see if he actually has the pace to pass, and maybe they can, if these two can work together and slingshot each time they're going on the roll, they should be able to catch up. But no, it looks like Sergio Mora really doesn't have the top speed. I think he might have a bit of damage. He just can't pass the...
Yeah, he went to the outside. He's still going to the outside of McAleer. McAleer stays on the inside there. He backs off very, very much going into turn 1, so he's a bit wary as we see. Wow, McAleer virtually touching the wall. Was that the touch there, Ayrton?
Yeah, he just touched the wall, and that has allowed Sergio Mora to get the speed to shoot on the inside. They're very close. McAleer trying to stay on the outside. It looks like Sergio Mora will just be able to get the position. And now McAleer gets a better exit. He peeks to the inside, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Turn 5 is not a good passing point on this track.
Yeah, so he's made a good pass there. McAleer probably can come back at him on the oval section. However, we'll wait to see what happens with this one. This is the position 4 that they're fighting for. The top 3 guys are a little way in front of them still. We'll get back to that top 3 in a minute, as we see Mora seemingly getting away from Sam McAleer at this point in time, Ayrton.
Yeah, that touch to the wall might have hurt his top speed, and these guys, I think, will probably be out of the lead battle as well. That last lap created a very large gap, and they only have 5 laps.
Well, keep an eye on that, because we're going back to the top 3. They still virtually nose to tail, and we still have Freitas in the lead and leading very well from the front, I must say. Timo Tuliainen, the laps are running down, and Jay Yanis as well. These guys have got to make a move soon.
As Mikalier loses it in turn 1, Mikalier spun while behind Sergio Moore. That damage has not helped him. He smashes into the wall, and I believe Mikalier has too much damage to be able to be competitive. He is going to lose out a lot of positions, and actually Joris Jelinko hit the wall as well. I think he clipped Mikalier, and he has exited his car and is out of the race.
Oh, that's a pity for these guys. However, it does work in Muro's favor to a certain extent, because now that he's out there on his own without a draft, mind you, he's got a slower car in front of him that he could possibly use as a draft partner to try and catch the leaders. That's George Fike there in front of him. Maybe he can use George to help catch up, but I don't believe he's going to make it. The top 3 guys are too fast and too close to each other. They will in draft, they can draft each other and still stay ahead of the group behind them. So it's these 3, and Timo Tuliainen still sitting behind Freitas. Freitas looking a bit defensive at this point in time there, Ayrton.
Yep, 4 laps left at the line, and Sam Mikalier and Joris Jelinko having to exit their cars has allowed 2 more positions for Tuomas Halonen, who now be up into the 5th position behind Sergio Mora. So 2 top drivers going out in 1 lap. That is quite a shame, and I bet Sam Mikalier was really frustrated by that.
Yeah, and we have to apologize to the viewers that we have been concentrating the whole race almost entirely on the lead pack. But that unfortunately is racing. These guys have a very, very exciting race going up front here, and it would be remiss of us not to stick with them as we go into the closing laps. Bearing in mind we're on lap 27 right now out of 30. Time running down, Ayrton. These guys have to make a move if they want to challenge for that number 1 position.
Yep, and they're going to be holding on. Janis is a little bit too far. Timo Tuliainen just lifting off, staying behind João Freitas. He's going to wait until the last lap to be able to get this snipe, and I'm interested to see how Janis will do it as well. He keeps on seeming to stay within the same exact distance to Timo Tuliainen because he has the draft as well, so it may be quite difficult for Janis to get this.
Yeah. It's 3rd place. I still think he's in a handy position. We'll quickly run through that top 5 for you. João Freitas leading virtually from the 1st or 2nd lap. Timo Tuliainen behind him in 2nd place as the laps close down. Jay Yanis just got a bit loose there in 3rd place. Behind them, a fair way back, we have Sergio Mura in 4th place and Tuomas Halonen sitting now in 5th place. Great racing from Tuomas Halonen especially. Trevor Mack is in 6th place. Richard Eklund, who we fancied, is in 7th, and 8th place Amjad Yaman. So these guys are doing a good job, but it's the first 2 or 3 guys that we want to be watching for the closing of this race, Ayrton.
Yep, and actually, Amjad Yaman did just pass Richard Eklund into turn 1 on that previous lap for that 7th place position behind Trevor Mack.
Yep, and still we have our 3 leaders, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Still we have João Freitas in the lead, who I did fancy for the win. Tuliainen pulling in right behind him. They're all hugging the inside at this stage, obviously. They don't want somebody to slipstream and then suddenly jump into the inside and make the pass. They go 3, virtually one after the other, nose to tail into this. The laps are winding down. Lap 29, Ayrton, who's going to win it?
I think I'm going to be rooting for Timo Tuliainen for this one. I don't think João Freitas, unless he does a really unexpected trick, is going to be able to defend against these 2 guys speeding around on the outside of him coming to the final lap. It's 1.5 laps to go. They're going to come onto the oval section of the track for the 2nd to last time after this corner, and this is where it's going to happen. They're gonna, Georgianis losing a little bit of time to these guys, but he's gonna catch it back in the draft as they go around the oval for the second to last time, and they're gonna be coming to the final lap now.
Yep, the final lap, that's where it's at. So do you make your move into turn 1 right here? That's the question for Timo, or does he make his move coming onto the oval for the last lap? We'll see what happens here. Giannis a little way back there as he starts to catch up in the latter part of the oval. Let's see what happens here. This is very, very exciting, I must say. Freitas hugging the inside, not allowing Tuliainen any leeway to try and get into the inside of him going into turn 1. They come now into turn 1 for the last time. Freitas, a great entry. Tuliainen, no chance there of making a pass, Ayrton.
Yeah, and he's good. He's just lifting off. He's getting runs and then lifting off. He's waiting for this oval section of the track, and that's where he thinks he's going to make this move. That's where he thinks he's going to do it. He's not going to try to pass before that, and that's probably what Georgianis has to do as well. They're just waiting for that oval.
Well, Giannis is closed right up. He's now right on the tail of Tuliainen. Tuliainen just lost a fraction of time there.
This is the final lap. They're entering the oval section for the last time. A little larger gap than last lap between João Freitas and Timo Tuliainen, but they have this whole oval section to go for racing to the checkered flag. The gap is a lot longer, but as they come onto the backstretch of the oval, they are going to close in. Timo Tuliainen rapidly closing into João Freitas. They're going into turns 3 and 4 of the oval section. Timo Tuliainen, is he going to try to stay to the inside? He goes to the outside. Georgianis rushing behind as well. He's got the speed. Is Georgianis going to try to make it 3 wide? He's poking to the middle. He's looking, and it looks like he's going to get the speed. And Georgianis, was it Timo Tuliainen just ahead of Georgianis, 11 one-thousandths of a second, and João Freitas is going to get the 3rd position.
Wow, what a finish. They were going 3 wide. Let's get a replay of that to finish because it's just been brilliant. Timo Tuliainen, as you said, Ayrton, did make his move. He left it to the very last second. They were rushing up on João Freitas. João Freitas in the first place had nothing that he could offer because he wasn't in the draft of anybody. Giannis tried to make it 3 wide, and both of these two guys passed Freitas for that last few seconds.
Yeah, and we had an identical situation for the 6th place position between Amjad Yaman, Trevor Mack, and Richard Eklund. Entering the 3 and 4 of the oval section of the track, they all 3 crashed and went straight into the wall. Amjad Yaman and Richard Eklund were the only 2 able to finish. After that, Trevor Mack was too damaged to continue.
Yeah, fantastic race. It vindicates our position to stick with the leaders for this particular race because I tell you what, it was a very, very torrid last lap there. So just to run down the standings, starting with Stefan, can you give us the top 10 there, please?
Yeah, well, we have Timo Tuliainen winning that exciting finish, and then Giannis just behind him, João Freitas about 1/10 back. Sergio Mora 4th, Thomas Hallonen 5th, Amjad Yaman coming in 6th, Kevin Seaford 7th, Stefan Marianne 8th, Richard Eklund 9th, and Eric Garcia 10th.
Yeah, and Arthur Chan brought in the 11th place. Must say Richard Eklund will be wondering what happened to his race. Good finishes from guys like Kevin Ford and Stefan Morian. But 10th place, Eric Garcia, very good finish from him. 11th, Arthur Chan. 12th, Jonathan Keir, one of the roadster drivers in this race. Great finish from him. 13th, Matthew Baker. 14th, Joseph Arrow. Trevor Mack, who was up much higher than 15th, did finish in 15th place. George Fike, a handy finish in 16th. Tori Tesla in 17th. Christopher Thompson in 18th place. Jeremy Naylor in 19th. And Sam McAleer, who was right up there before that accident of his, finished in 20th place. Ayrton?
Yep, then in 21st we had Joris Jelinka, who was also up there with Sam McAleer. Kevin Stallings in 22nd. Mihai Messison in 23rd. Benjamin Lanouette in 24th. Bill Zahn, the organizer, 25th. Hiro Kanaya in 26. Now we're in the retirement. Jan Koemans, Ben Tucker, Jim McInnes, Matthias Swaney, Dylan Murcott, and Jim Boland.
Thank you for that. So that's where we are at the moment. We'll go to a break now, and then we'll come back and do some post-race interviews and get some thoughts from you guys on how this race went. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And welcome back to the Blondie's MX5 World Tour. Viewers, we had one of the most exciting finishes that I've seen in a little while, and we are going to talk about that to these drivers. We have Jay Yanis in our interview room ready to be interviewed. We'll bring him into the booth and we'll talk to Jay Yanis in a moment. Jay Yanis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Richard.
Jay, what an exciting finish. You nearly pulled it off going through the middle there. Tell us about that.
Well, I knew when I'm the third guy in the line, I always get the best run. And I was hoping to go on the outside, but Timo didn't leave me enough room there, so I kinda had to go through the middle and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, you very nearly pulled it off. If it wasn't for that touch, I think you did have the best run going to the line there. Congratulations, Jay. A great finish from you. In second place, poor old Zhao lost out there to you guys, but a great finish. Congratulations on that finish. We really, really think that was a great race.
Thank you. It was a good race.
All right. Thanks for talking to us, Jay. Ayrton will bring Jalfredis in and you have a chat with him.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Jalfredis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, not as ideal as it could have been. You were leading the 21 laps of the race, and it looked like you were set to win, but can you tell us what you're thinking in those final laps, as you probably knew that Timo Tuliainen and Jared Janis had an advantage with the draft?
Yeah, sure. I knew that the last lap would be very tough. I wasn't sure if I was going to win or come second or third, but it was a good team effort. Us three went ahead. We didn't overtake each other, so we gained the gap from the guy in fourth position. So it was a good race overall.
Yeah, and a very good job. Third place. You still got a podium finish. I honestly don't think you had much to do there. It's very difficult to defend two drivers that have a really strong run on you going into that front stretch. But can you tell me a little bit about the beginning of the race, because it was quite chaotic. We saw a lot of top drivers making mistakes and dropping down at the beginning of the race, which obviously affected them later on. Can you tell us a little bit about all the chaos?
Yeah, sure. I started fourth, so right in the beginning of the race, I overtook Timo for the third place, so he made a mistake. Then Juros Jelenko made another mistake, and Sam made another mistake again, and I saw myself in first, so I didn't do much there. I just kept myself on the track.
Well, that's some good driving from you. I heard that the weather made this race especially tricky, especially in turn one. We saw a lot of mistakes there, including Jan Koens himself. So you did a very good job today, and congratulations on a third place finish. Do you have anyone that you want to thank?
Okay, thank you, Ayrton. No, the usual Blondies and Bill Za and you guys from GSRC from doing a great job.
Okay, thank you. And Richard, will you take the next?
Thank you, Ayrton. And we do have, for the first time, Timo Tuliainen in the booth with us. We want to talk to Timo. Stefan, would you like to talk to Timo?
Yeah, I can do that. Timo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So, Timo, congratulations on winning the race. That was very exciting coming up, that free pack. How did you see your chances in that last lap?
I didn't think that I would win this race, but yeah, I thought that top 3 would be a great finish, but to be the first one to finish, oh man, I'm speechless.
Yeah, that was a pretty unexpected move by Janis, it seems. It was very good to see you come up there. Were you trying to stay behind the freighters, or what did you thoughts were during the race?
Yeah, I was just drafting with the freighters that we would get away from the top 4. I'm in the fourth car, and I thought I would finish second or third, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, congratulations on the win. Do you have anyone you want to congratulate or shout out to?
Yeah, sure. For you guys, doing great job, and Bill and Blondies, of course, and well, every racers there again, and it was awesome race again. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Okay, Richard, back to you.
Thank you, Stefan. Timo, not a person of a lot of words, but a great job he did today. We've got one more in the booth there, Amjad Yaman. We might have a quick chat with Amjad as our last interview. Amjad, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Amjad, a little further back tonight in the pack there, in 6th place you finished. Congratulations, a very handy finish for you to keep your championship hopes alive. How did you see the race?
Very interesting, because I was set back because of qualifying, lost that lead pack. Thankfully for me, I had some help with Richard, so we were able to at least catch up to one of the car at the end, and then we had that big fight at the end between Richard and Triple Mac.
Yeah, these guys, the top 3 guys, Timo, Jie and Yao, they had a large lead, and they were largely drafting each other as well, so you guys had very little chance of catching them. But further back, we didn't show a lot of any of the guys further back because the top 3 were battling so hard for the win, and it was one of the most exciting finishes. But you know, you guys that were a little way further back were having your own battles, and a great finish as well. Did you have any serious battles with anybody, or did you just cruise along and get your 6th place by people falling out ahead of you?
I basically got the position by people falling out ahead of me, but we had that, me, Richard, and Trevor had a big fight at the last lap, and going in the turn 4, all 3 of us made contact, and I was the one to make it out first. So I feel fortunate, but I'll definitely take the 6th place.
I'm sure you would. Well, Amjad, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on that 6th place. It's very hard to get a top 10 finish amongst the company that you guys are racing with, so thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, I'll get some thoughts from you on the race just briefly. Etan, what did you think?
I thought it was a fantastic race. The top drivers did really good at their strategies. The pit strategy race was exciting, and like the final ending finish was exciting in multiple battles. So it was a really good race and very tense. Not a moment of quiet the whole race.
Yeah, I have to agree entirely with you. Stefan, what were your thoughts?
Well, I'm just looking at the scores, and actually I think these results just makes the battle for the lead position of the championship even closer, with the first, the Rato not driving to incumbents, having bad luck, and Eklund as well. So Freitas and Tulan just jumping up there, and that's going to be great for following the rest of the season.
Excellent stuff. I agree with you there. It'll make the coming races even more exciting. My thoughts: Timo Tuliainen, a great win. Jay Yanis, a little unfortunate not to win, and Yao Freitas, the loser out of those 3, because he had really no way to defend against what was happening in the last lap there. Anyway, folks, we thank you for viewing. We would be starting the closing session right now. We would like to thank the Blondies Bar in Long Beach, California, and the organizer of the Blondies MX5 World Tour, Bill Subzan. We would also like to thank iRacing.com, XSplit, Twitch TV, Audio Technica, and Ava Media for helping make this broadcast possible. Thanks also to everyone who's a part of the GSRC team. You guys do a great job. If you would like to see more of our work, you can find us at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GSRC Channel. And you can like us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. A special thanks goes to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with the music you heard tonight. You can find Eric's music not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes and Spotify. If you like our music, tell him where you heard it at ericekholm.com. We would also like to thank Dexter Britton, who provides us with additional music and has a lot of great music with NASA, TED Talks and McLaren. Listen or buy his music at dexterbritton.co.uk. Our next broadcast in the Blondie series will be at 11 a.m. Pacific time next Saturday at Okayama. Join us later on as well for the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series at Watkins Glen. Until then, folks, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.